These are the best rosy and mauve toned eyeshadow palettes. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. I did a deep dive in my makeup collection to try and find like the best rosy and mauve toned eyeshadow palettes. I can't hold everything because it's just too much. There's 15 things here, so that's what we're going to be talking about. I do want to say this, preface this video really quickly by saying if you hear any noises, I've got all my doors and windows open because I was away for 2 weeks and my house felt a little bit stuffy. And then just a few hours after I got home, there was a huge fire really close to me. So I need to air out my house because it's a mess. And makeup free because I was a little bit tired after my trip. And yes, my nails got destroyed as I was traveling. I'm going to get them redone ASAP. So if you see patches of red somewhere and then not on other nails, that's why. So all of those things out of the way, let's chat about these eyeshadow palettes because we're doing eyeshadow palette month and I'm doing daily videos in case you didn't know yet. So just so you know. I'm going to do these small things first because they're going everywhere and else I'm going to forget to talk about them. So I have lots of really good rosy tone palettes actually, and some of them even from the Drugstore and K-beauty brands that are quite affordable. So if you were looking for a good rosy palette, give it a whirl. I think from the drugstore, the most pinky rosy thing I have is the soft Peony. This is a really nice cool tone color story with these brighter pinks. But if that's not your vibe, maybe you have a deeper skin tone, maybe you want a little bit more warmth, then the Deep Velvet, which is more of a burgundy, but they actually have quite a pink undertone on me. So this is a little bit more neutral, it's got more warmth, really beautiful as well. So those are good rosy eyeshadow palettes if that's what you're looking for. But I also really like this one. This is the Dreamy Lilac Garden from Romand. And this is such a beautiful, more like muted rosy tones is what I would call these. They are really beautiful. Mine is getting a little bit like scratched here. The name is rubbing off from how often I reach for it to show it in videos because it's one of my favorite Romand palettes. Then I have the Over the Path by Clio. Clio is a little bit more expensive than Romand is, but the Over the Path is a little bit more purpley leaning, so depending on what you like. And this is also one where there is a little bit more depth than in most other K-beauty palettes. So especially if we want to try K-beauty, Romand and Clio are my two favorite brands to try, in case you were wondering. If we're talking mauve tones, making mauves, this is not the original palette. I did reorganize mine a little bit, but I think Colourpop still does this, and it's a good one. That again, if you're in the US, this can be quite affordable. I put some shades in from the Flutterby. But yeah, I still like this till this day. Really beautiful. I think I put some of the purple tones that are down here, mainly in here. I remember that most of this palette stayed really close to the original because I like the original so much. Like most of the Colourpop palettes I've tried in my day, I haven't loved in terms of like their color stories very often, and I was always reorganizing them, and this one I did reorganize, but it was only a few shades, so that's a testament to how good the original color story was. Viseart does some really good rosy tones. I just don't feel they have dedicated rosy palettes. The one that comes closest in my brain is if you like a little bit more warmth in your rosy palette, and then the Revéries palette is really nice. I believe it's called Paris Revéries, that sort of thing. And this is a little bit more like lilac-y, rosy, and then these like peachy tones. But the peachy tones all have this hint of pink to them. And also here, it's like these really soft, rosy tones, I would call them. So that's why I'm titling this video Best Rosy / Mauve, because I don't really have that many good mauve palettes anymore. I've got a couple that I really enjoy, but I've really in recent years been veering more towards the pinky tones. I just have. Case in point, I was looking for a really good pinky tone palette. This is the Jump for Joy. I believe that's what it's called. This is by Cheeryep. And this is just such a beautiful pink tone palette. These are a little bit more warmer, peachy leaning. These are a little bit more cooler, lilac leaning. So you get a little bit of everything. It's got this lime to sort of contrast with and have a bit of fun. It's got 5 beautiful shimmers and just some really nice like mauvey, rosy. Like this is the ultimate pink palette to me. It just gives me everything I want. So that's why that's a recommendation for me as well. And then we need to chat about Glossgods, because they do some really pretty rosy tones in 2 of their palettes. For the people who like warmths, the Let's Get Nude is a really good warm tone palette, but these are all, again, quite rosy, especially this row here, and also in this multi-chrome there is this pink shift. So if you were to combine like this section in the middle, really gorgeous. This has this reddish undertone, so you can make this go very spicy, orange, cinnamon-like, copper almost, but you can also stick to the rosy tones, and that just, chef's kiss. It's one of the more unique warm tone palettes in my collection for that reason. I'm not sure they still do this, but the vintage Glam does come in and out of stock sometimes. They brought it back. I missed out on it originally, but this is so beautiful as well. It's got these really beautiful rosy things here, then the purples in the middle, and then these warmer peachy rosy things again at the top. So absolutely beautiful. This is a really nice rose gold shimmer. What can I say? I used to be a fiend for rose gold eyeshadow. Like a decade ago, the only thing I wanted to wear was a rose gold shimmer all over the lid, and this palette is still sort of like tickling that itch because it's still somewhere, but it's not as prevalent as it used to be. I've got 2 beautiful palettes from Melt. Not sure you can still get these, but Gemini 2 is again great for like rosy tones that have more warmth to them. It's a little matte heavy for my liking, but this entire selection here, chef's kiss. If you're looking for good warm rosy tones, this palette is excellent. Melt Cosmetics formula though is not for the faint of heart. These are a little bit harder to work with. They take a little bit of practice to make them look good on your eyes, I feel. And then for the more cooler toned option, I have the Millennial Pinx, which I have to be pretty careful with because one of them came a little bit shattered, and it's been fragile ever since. I keep losing eyeshadow in this one. But here again, you have those rosy tones with some like grayish blue shades. Absolutely stunning. So beautiful. This wasn't everybody's favorite when it came out, but it's such a good like Valentine's Day release. I think this is one of the best Valentine's Day palettes we ever got. For a true mauve tone, I still reach for my Sigma New Mod. I actually kept this over my Natasha Denona Retro palette because I looked at that, I was like, well, any look I would do with that, I could get out of this. And this is a little bit more purple leaning. Here you have some neutrals, the like warmer rosy tones, the purpley rosy tones, and then again some neutrals. It's beautiful. I love this. It does run quite deep for my complexion though. It's quite saturated in terms of what these colors give me, but I love playing with this, and it's one of the reasons why I don't have any more mauve tone palettes, because this is like my one-stop shop. Can we do an eyeshadow palette video about rosy tones and not talk about Pat McGrath? Of course we have to talk about her as well. This is the Huetopian Dream, which I kept over the Divine Rose 2. I used to have more of her palettes, but this, in terms of like rosy tones, again, take a minute. It's got a little bit of peachy rosiness. It's got this, I love this shade and this shade, and then it has those like lavender shades to contrast with it. So stunning. I love this shimmer too. That's a beautiful shade. Like, I love every single tone that is in here. And it's got a little bit of that mauviness, but not too much. It's more like rosy pink. And we all know that Pat McGrath does the same rosy pink in every single palette, it seems. This is the palette I decided to keep for myself to have that vibe in my life. And then we have the Natasha Denona Retro Glam. I did keep this one, and it's just because it has those 3 really beautiful rose tones in, I want to feature it here. It's of course grays and greens mainly, but those 3 rosy tones make the palette for me. I actually reach for them quite a bit when I reach for this palette. So I know it's not a full-on rosy palette, but I do think these rosy tones are really good. They're just really good. And if you want something completely rose toned, then the Smokey Glam from Bella Beauté Bar is quite possibly the best thing on the planet. Now, I've always said that I would have wanted one row of more of this. Like, these rows all looked very similar when I played with it on my lids, but it is a very monochromatic, rosy leaning palette. You get some cool tones at the bottom to do that classic smoky eye if you wish. The shimmers in here are amazing. I love Bella Beauté Bar formula. You guys know that about me. But this is just an excellent one, and even though this wasn't my favorite by them, I do keep it around because I do think that this palette has something unique that I don't have in other palettes. Like, I've shown you 14 other rosy, pinky, mauve tone sort of palettes, and I don't feel any of them do it like this. You know what I mean? So that's why the Smoky Glam by Bella Beauté bar is a definite favorite if I have to pick like a good pink tone palette. If you get just two options, I would say go with the Cheeryep if you're more of a neutral girly and you want to play with pink as a pop of color. If you're more of a glam, Instagram baddie kind of makeup wearer, then go for the Smoky Glam for Bella Beauté bar. You could skip everything else. I do not realize, like, if you truly want some pinks in your life, these would be my picks. So thank you so much for joining me here today. Remember, we're doing daily videos for Eyeshadow Palette Month, so to see you again really, really soon. I am also hosting a giveaway, so if you haven't entered yet, make sure you check my video out that I will link in the description box down below, so you know what you need to do to enter and what you can win. So I hope to see you again tomorrow, and I hope to see you then. Bye-bye!